Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Walker Talks. I'm your host, Lacey Smith with the Walker County Chamber of Commerce, joined by Pastor Ashley Mew from the Gordon Lake Wesleyan Church, also a member of our board of directors. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Good to have you back. I think you got some time away, right?
I did get a little bit of time away. It was nice. And, it's summertime, right? Summertime.
Love this time of year. Yeah, we're transitioning. Schools are starting to come to an end, and field trips and field days and all those things. Yeah, as it starts to warm up finally.
It is. Yeah. It is. And we are talking about all things tourism today. The chamber carries the responsibility and gets the opportunity to promote all the great things we have here in Walker County. And so we're excited to talk about that today.
When I think about Walker County and Walker Rocks, it seems to come to life as summer rolls in, right? Yeah. Because it warms up and people get outdoors and the agriculture starts to grow. And so it's an exciting time of year.
Yeah. It is an exciting time. It's also an exciting time at the chamber because we have recently hired Alison Missler. She is our tourism manager. Welcome, Alison.
Hi. Yeah, really excited to be here. My first podcast ever, so really
nice.
I know.
We'll go easy on you. We've not lost
please.
Anybody on.
We need to send out post podcast surveys though and see if they'll come back. I don't know. Alison, you get to see and share Walker County from a different and unique perspective. Tell everybody just a little bit about what your first few weeks on the job has been like and what you're looking forward to in this role.
Yeah, so the first couple weeks have been busy. I think my second day, it was kind of reporting season. And so kind of got to really jump in some spreadsheets and get a sense of what was happening before I was here. And so that was really cool to kind of see, okay, what are the things that we are promoting? How are we promoting them? What does that look like as a chamber and kind of functioning as a CMO role? And then a lot of, communicating with people in the committee to figure out, okay, what are things that we should be promoting and we should be investing in, and that we think have a value for people coming to this area and seeking an experience. And gosh, the thing that I am most excited for about the role, I think in a year, being able to see the growth and being able to sit with the data and go, okay, we have really broken into the Florida market effectively. We have really figured out how to ensure that our short-term rentals are getting the support that they need during those low occupancy seasons. That feels really, really important to me. And then seeing how we can get bigger events and corporate groups to see the value in having things in Walker County. I think that there are some really dynamite venues that are happening and getting revitalized for people to have those bigger events in. And then, how do we grow so that we have more doors for people to stay in, that we can have bigger events, and we can expand what's happening with the honeybee, right? That we can pull in these bigger things that benefit both the community, right, and the people here, but also showcase what we're doing so that, we're a little bit more in the spotlight.
Well said. Walker County, people may not be familiar with it, but obviously Rock City is located in Walker County. People think they're coming to Chattanooga. They're actually in Georgia when they visit. They have about 500,000 visitors every year. But it's not just the big tourist draw like Rock City. It's all of the outdoor recreation amenities that are pulling people to the area, but also giving locals something to do too. And I think that's just as important from a Chamber of Commerce standpoint, because if they're staying in Walker County on the weekends and they're not venturing out as much to go to other areas, that means their dollars are staying local too. And so driving that impact is important for us as an organization. We're excited to have Alison in the role that she's in. We're also excited to have our friends from the city of LaFayette joining us too for this conversation. How are you doing, Jason and Logan?
Doing well. Thanks.
You want to take a minute and introduce yourselves and tell everybody what you do with the city?
I'm Jason Shattuck. I'm Director of Parks and Recreation. I also oversee the golf course. Talking about the vision of tourism for years ago and just what's happening. I've been here for 10 years in this role. This is coming up September. And a lot of the stuff that we're seeing come to fruition now has been talked about, for the last 10 years. And that's where I'm at.
And I'm Logan Edgeman. I am the Athletics and Outdoor Program Supervisor. So I help manage our youth soccer league. as well as I'm helping develop this outdoor recreation and outdoor programs department that will be new to the city of Lafayette, to really showcase our outdoor opportunities that we have in the area, facilitate a way for people to have an outdoor and adventurous experience, as well as really showcase our new facilities that are being built and soon to open, for the city of Lafayette.
And how is that a different mind shift, I think, from in terms of traditional recreation, right? We always think of, playing ball. I know your kids are active and playing baseball, softball. But then you have this other option, right? To program for outdoor recreation. What does that look like from the city's viewpoint and your long-term plan?
Yeah, again, when doing the interview for this position 10 years ago, we talked about just not wanting to be a bat and ball rec department. And we have the city lake, we've got the golf course, we've got walking trails, we've got caves, we've got climbing Rocktown and stuff like that. So it's really what that vision was starting to introduce not just other outsiders know about these acquisitions that we have or these amenities that we have, but a lot of our locals don't. I grew up in Walker County, born and raised, didn't know about Rocktown, didn't know about all the cavings and all the hiking. And when working at a different Parks and Rec, the director at that time was telling me about things that LaFayette had, and it was 5 minutes from where I grew up, didn't even know about Rocktown.
Yeah.
When we go there, we see all, Kansas, New York, Alabama, but we don't see anybody from Walker County there. So that was what our idea was, is wanting to introduce our locals to what they have and how to better take care of those things. Because what I found out is what the locals were doing was not taking care of those things. They were going up there and mistreating them. So want to better educate on what we have and how to take care of that.
And if I can jump in really quick, I think from a tourism standpoint, right, the idea is obviously we want to bring people into this area so we can have, for our businesses, for our short-term rentals, so that we can grow the bucket, right? That's like, it's important. That's part of everyone's job, is thinking about the bottom line and the profit. But then it's also thinking about the people, right? Like how does tourism, how does promoting Walker County, what does that look like for the people of this place? And that means like they have more access to things, right? That means there are hopefully better restaurants, right? They're more accessible. There's, all of those things. And then underneath, right, like those things, and maybe even, I don't know if it has to be below or under, but in line with that is, what about the place, right? How does bringing people to a place, how does that impact the literal place? And ultimately, like, what does that do, right? And the people that are coming in, how are they treating it? How are they seeing it? How are they respecting it? But that's also in line with the people of it. And so I think those things that you said from a tourist standpoint, or when we're thinking about like, okay, should we do a marketing initiative? Should we push this? It's like, okay, well, what are those? What are the three? How does that thing impact those three lenses, and what does that look like? So yeah, I think it's interesting, the other side of it, right? From a community perspective, you're also thinking about those things, right? And we are too. It's one and the same. I think that
it benefits everyone.
yeah, truly, right?
So one of the things we talked about a little bit yesterday, Jason, when I had called you to ask if you guys could jump on with us today, is Queen City Lake. And you may not necessarily do active programming right now, but just having that resource, what are all of the things that people can participate in with?
So Walmart about 3 or 4 years ago, they put in a bathroom for us to help that man, and also a pavilion there that you're able to use, and it gets heavily used. The city invested in a dock that's there for a boat dock and kayaking, and a beach. We come out there and we put sand. So there's a sand beach that gets used. I was out there last weekend, and it was already kids were out there swimming, building sandcastles, and boaters were fishing, and it's all stand up paddle boarders. So it's not a secret. I felt like 10 years ago it was a hidden gem, sort of a secret, but it's not. It's the high schools out there. They do a biological marine biology kind of study on checking the water and contaminants and stuff like that. So they're very involved in it, and so we're very excited about all the things that we have.
It's definitely grown, and like you pointed out, Jason, it's been showcased more. I think some of the amenities in Walker County and in Lafayette specifically. And he keeps talking about 10 years ago, because he and I came to work in LaFayette at the same time. I came in July. He came a couple months later. The difference is he's from the area and I'm not. So, kind of a little promo here is that we went through Walker leadership together.
Oh yeah.
And shortly after that, that's where we got to know one another. And I've been able to see as a newcomer through the lens of tourism and different things of how you've seen these things get showcased a lot more, the amenities in Walker County, and someone like Jason and his team through the rec in Lafayette has done a great job of partnering with the larger county to make sure that we lift these things and that we make sure that people are aware of what's available. And you guys don't just do sports; you do camps in the summers and a lot of things
swim lessons
to let the locals have something to be a part of, right?
Yes, sir. We've got swim lessons coming up. We've got golf clinics at the golf course. Logan's about to start a whole new outdoor initiative for us for whether it be tree climbing, climbing at the park. I can let him expound a lot more on that, but it's going to be a really big summer. And a lot of things are just, like I said, what that vision was is now coming to fruition. And we're just we can't be more excited about just what's happening for the city of Lafayette and for the greater Walker County.
So I know if they've gone down that way, they've actually seen this rock wall. But let's talk a little bit about that, when it's going to be ready, your timeline, and what you see happening there.
Yeah, so the whole park will open hopefully at the end of this month. So we're on track for that. So Honeybee Day is like our big opening. So yeah, it's a very large addition to our amenities of the city. So that'll be a 9-hole disc golf course, a skate park, which people are really excited about. Have restroom facilities and an accessible playground, as well as a large rock climbing facility that you just wouldn't see in a small town like Lafayette, maybe here in the Southeast. So, yeah, really weighing on like the adventurous spirit of recreation here by that addition, and a lot of green space too. I mean, it's got tons of green space for whatever people choose to do to recreate in, and it really helps bridge the gap of like our downtown corridor and then our Mars district, more of like historical district. So it's going to bring that whole area together to really expand what downtown Lafayette looks like, as well as all the recreational benefits. So
I will not be using the skate park. Just I'll stick to the walking trail. Yeah, I'm past that age. But.
Yeah, I mean that's worth mentioning too. It's got a great walking trail that's lit at night, so create a really nice lit, safe space to walk at all times of day and night. So people are already walking on it. Even though we're trying to work around like an active construction zone, they're itching for it to open, and yeah, just a couple of weeks.
So our focus today has been a lot of tourism and how tourism plays a part in getting people to stay here and people to move here and be a part of this community and want to raise families here and do life in Walker County. So what does that look like for you? You got a little bit of a story, right?
Yeah.
So share that with us.
Happy to. So I think my husband, who is sitting beside me, probably in introductions, we don't share the last name. It was, so people I don't think always associate that we're married, but we are. And yeah, so I was working in operations at a resort outside of Jackson, Wyoming, and I think, and Logan, feel free to chime in whenever. I think we both really loved Jackson. It's hard not to love Jackson. But we welcomed our first kiddo this past year. And, we had always been kind of in conversation of when we have a family, even if we feel really good in our careers and where we are professionally, like it makes the most sense to be back in the Southeast. And it's always been home, right? Like, I'm born and raised in Georgia. Like, I love Georgia. Love the Mountain West, but I knew that we wanted to get back. And so I think for us being in Walker County, and Logan, feel free to chime in, it felt like a really, really great opportunity to kind of be closer. My family's in Atlanta, to still have access to the outdoor world, which is so important. I have a horse. I'm an equestrian. I want to be able to have my horse close by. I want to have trails. I want to have that community, which is something that I think Walker County has. It is that people probably don't know unless you're in that world. And I would not recommend getting a horse. The most expensive hobby outside of a boat. Don't do it. All you horse girls out there watching this, think again. But Walker County offered for our family this opportunity to still have access to a major city, right? Two cities really, but get kind of the type of lifestyle that we wanted, surrounded with family and like a really authentic feeling. Um, and an opportunity presented itself. And I'll kind of let Logan, I think Logan's story here is really more interesting because I've been visiting Walker County for a decade plus, but like I don't have the same kind of experience of Walker County.
So Logan, is your story credible?
Yeah,
Come on.
That's credible. I'll chime in. I actually grew up in Lafayette, so I'm from Walker County. And once I graduated from Lafayette High School, I knew that I wanted to pursue a career that I was passionate about. So I was really influenced about the outdoor amenities and kind of the area and what we have to offer here. So I chased that career, and what I've done is I've moved around the country to these big outdoor hubs to really see what these areas are like. Places like Jackson Hole, Wyoming, with high outdoor tourism. And I've always kind of asked the question of why isn't this happening in Northwest Georgia? Why isn't this happening in Lafayette and Walker County? And then there's like the next question of can it happen, right? It's not like why is it not, or is it possible? And again, our family was looking at relocating back to the southeast. We really weren't like we're moving back to Walker County, but we knew we wanted something that had similar things to offer, right? This really like hometown kind of lifestyle, access to the outdoors, but relatively close to some major cities. And I think we actually kind of merged our conversation. I knew that the city of Lafayette was really starting to put out some things like non-traditional recreation, like not just bat and ball sports, the gateway to outdoor recreation. So Jason and the city of Lafayette were really kind of, starting some of the framework of an outdoor recreation program. So I reached out to them and, we brainstormed what that could look like, and they were already moving forward. And I was like, maybe, just maybe, these two paths could really come together to allow an opportunity for me to bring my career back here, bring my family back here, and really check all the boxes, both personally and professionally. So, yeah, that's really what brought us back to Walker County specifically. Is it checked all the boxes personally and professionally for us.
Yeah, and I think if I can kind of chime in, I think there was a little bit like I had been in operations at a resort, really, and I think hospitality and tourism go hand in hand. I was, helping with marketing campaigns, trying to pull people in. We were located outside of Jackson in a really small community. And so we were kind of trying to pull people to stay with us versus staying in Jackson. The price point was more affordable. You got more of a hometown feel. We didn't have as big of a downtown district as Jackson, but it still had like dynamite milkshakes and really good food, and it was walkable and your kids could bike and you didn't have to worry. And so, moving here, I think in just honesty, I was, professionally a little nervous. I was like, I really love my job and I'm leaving this career that I've worked really hard to be in. And, was so jazzed for Logan and our family, but, was like, am I going to have to commute to Chattanooga to, have a job that is in the same lane of X, Y, and Z? And so when the opening happened at the chamber, I was so jazzed to see something that was in line with what I had been doing professionally. It felt like the universe really was like, oh, like you can make it work in Walker County, like you can really, this thing that you guys have both been kind of like manifesting can be a triumph for both of you professionally, which I think sometimes like, I know Lacey and I have had conversations of what it is to be a woman in a professional space, and it felt really dynamite for that to open and to get the opportunity to build something for both of us professionally. And yeah, I think what they're doing in the city of Lafayette, one, super jazz for Logan and the city of Lafayette, but from a tourism standpoint, like it's exactly what we want for Walker County because there aren't other outfitters. There aren't outfitters that are going to be accessible at that price point, right? That can get people into these spaces and have that human aspect and know it well. I mean, I heard about Rocktown 10 years ago from probably Logan, and like I can't imagine, you know, you have such a sense of what this place has to offer for people who want to recreate outdoors. And I think it's really cool that outside guests can have a full day in Walker County and not feel like they have to go into Chattanooga if they want to experience something that is like outside of just a small town feel, right? Like they can really have an adventurous experience, and that's neat, you know.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big points of our outdoor program is bridging the gap to get our local community outside, and really take pride in what resources we have in our community that are often either unknown or overlooked. Things like the Pigeon Mountain area, Rocktown, the Queen City Lake, all of these kind of outdoor recreation, points of access that maybe just are taking for granted, or maybe just people are unaware of it. But yeah, making things accessible. So like really breaking down the common barriers for entry of why people don't do outdoor recreation, sports, or activities. So, affordability and cost is a big one. So we're going to have, really affordable programs, that kind of target a wide range of demographics, and really reflect our own community. But also things like gear rentals to where people can rent equipment just to try something new or have that experience without making the full investment just to try it for the first time. So I think that's going to be really, really positive for our community that, they're going to have access that they've never had before. And quite frankly, isn't very common in the Southeast still.
So I was about to say the uniqueness of this park is that it's not just unique to this area; it's unique to like basically anywhere in the Southeast. There's not another park that's coming around like this park. So it's like with the ground opening, I think we're going to do sometime later in the summer, but we're inviting Parks and Rec professionals around the state to come up because they want to see what small town city of LaFayette's got and what we're doing, and it's just really a exciting opportunity and exciting time for the city of LaFayette and Walker County as a whole.
I couldn't agree more. We're thrilled to have both of you here in Walker County. You've been a tremendous asset to our team already. The tourism division of the chamber has grown significantly in the last several years. I feel sure and confident with Alison's tenure and her professional background that she's going to take it to a new level for us as well. So
Yeah, and if outdoor recreation and good food and milkshakes,
yes,
those are the measurables, in Walker County's
check
in
the
good
box.
position.
Check the
Yeah,
box.
we're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for joining in for this edition of Walker Talks. Tune in next time. We'll continue to talk about tourism here in Walker County.